Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by John Yockey of X3P Breakthrough Coaching. He highlights the benefits of having a professional coach on your day-to-day life. Also on the podcast, we are joined by Tyron Wilson, Director of Business Development and Outreach for Epic Flight Academy. He talks about their new location coming to CVG and how students can get involved in their airline mechanic program. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Schneller Knockelman. The Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce is now accepting applications for the Next Generation Leader Awards. Northern Kentucky Young Professionals, NGLAs, honors young professionals ages 40 and under for significant accomplishments within their chosen professional field, as well as their commitment and contributions to the community. Applications are due April 26th. To nominate a young professional for a Next Generation Leader Award, visit nkychamber.com/NGLA-nom. Now, let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsors, and I'll be back with this week's guests.
Why would you travel to England?
For football.
To go or not to go?
That is an easy question.
To visit the land of Shakespeare.
To take in all the sights.
Authentic fish and chips.
To experience arts and culture.
2 words, British Open.
To visit my family.
Same reason I go anywhere. For a pint of beer. To start my trip through Europe.
Whatever your reason, there's no better time than now.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention. Uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. The Hardin Group speaks and trains on a variety of leadership topics, including change management, high-performing teams, authentic communication, and embracing and navigating change. Grain Design Flooring is a locally owned and operated business that has been installing floors since 2013. They sell and install hardwood, engineered wood, luxury vinyl, laminate, carpet, and tile. Founded in 1955, DBL Law is a full-service law firm representing private and public companies across many industries, as well as nonprofit organizations and individuals. Castellini is a supply chain company powered by a legacy of agility and expertise. Their value is in problem solving to take on clients' most complex challenges and provide faster, simpler solutions.
Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by John Yockey, who is a certified executive coach with X3P Breakthrough Coaching. John, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. It's really great to be here. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to talk with you today.
Yeah, it's great. So tell us about your business. Let's jump right in. You are an executive coach. What do you do? How did you get started?
Well, I started my business a year ago in 2023. Prior to that, I was a corporate executive. I worked in manufacturing and operations for more than 30 years. And over that time, I just developed a passion for coaching, mentoring people. And I knew that when I retired from that corporate world, that this is exactly what I was going to do. So I'm super excited to be doing what I'm doing now because I get to do the best things that I really enjoyed doing throughout my career, and I get to do that full time now. So I really love that.
Yeah, that is great. As you were in that first part of your career, what made you so passionate about coaching and that mentorship aspect?
Well, I saw what it could, I had opportunities to have a coach, and I saw what it could do for me. And then I also saw what it did for other people. And having led teams my whole career, it was great to see people grow beyond where they thought they could get to. And that's really what coaching is about, is taking somebody from where they are to really where they want to be. So that's always been great. as part of my career.
Yeah, and you have a really fun background as to why it is X3P. Tell us that story.
Well, on my first day as an engineer in a plant setting, I had a meeting with the plant manager, which, you can be a little scary, right? He was the big boss and I was 24. And I came in and one of the first things he said to me after hello, of course, was, I expect you to earn 3 times your salary and benefits back for this site every single year that you're here. And I was like, wow, that's, I thought I was just here to do projects, I thought I was just going to work on stuff. So it made me really think, and it was intentional on his part to think about adding value. So for me, that idea of adding value has always stuck with me. So this idea of X3P is just that. It's a 3 times performance. It's really not about 3 times performance. It's about the idea of adding value. So when we're working, we should be adding value and contributing. Right?
Yeah, that's really great. And so you are a certified executive coach, but you have some areas of specialty.
Sure.
What are those areas? Like, what's your focus area?
Well, I specialize in a few areas. Career development is one. It just kind of naturally fell through my whole development in my career. Leadership is another. So I started out when I was 24 becoming a leader of 40 people. So I got thrown in the fire. So leadership is important to me. Executive coaching, which is what I really say is taking that vision that you have and turning it into a reality. So that's a big part of what I coach people on. And then change management. So, we all go through big changes. It could be a change of role, could be a change in where we live, it could be a change in our life circumstance. And so I help people navigate that. Having moved, 9 times, lived in 8 different states, and I think I had 21 bosses in my corporate life. I'm used to change, so I think I can help people there too. So, and then of course, life coaching. We're all whole people, so you can't coach one part without coaching the other. So that's a big part of what I do also.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of movement over the course of a career, by the way. If we can just call that one out. I feel like so many people, especially in that change management aspect, so many people are so adverse to change, but so many of us go through changes with our career, different, promotions, whether it be that or just taking a step into a completely different area. When you think about coaching and what you're able to do for the clients that you work with, what are the benefits of having an executive coach?
Well, when I think about coaching, I think everybody can relate to the sports analogy, right? So Tiger Woods, arguably one of the best players in golf in the world over the history. He has coaches that help him. So the idea for him is that he wants to get better, right? He wants an outside perspective on getting better. And so that's a crossover with the kind of coaching I do. Is I'm able to give people an unbiased view of what they're thinking, and they're free to speak with me confidentially, and so I can give them feedback that other people can't.
Right.
So as a family member, as a boss, as a friend, we tend to be biased, right? So we already have an idea of what we think is best for you. As a coach, I don't have that. I want to find out what is best for you, and I want to help you get there. So I don't have a bias. So that's kind of part of coaching.
Yeah. And then do you have a specific type of client that you work with, or is it open for everybody?
Well, I've really had a wide range of clients. I've worked with senior executives, and then I've also worked with people that have just gotten out of college. And so I enjoy kind of that whole spectrum. So the more experienced people, they have kind of different challenges, more on the leadership, executive coaching side, maybe change management. The younger people, they're getting into their careers. So career is a big focus for them. And I think now too is this life balance. So if I can help somebody when they're younger to figure these things out and to work it out for themselves, then they're going to have a very successful career and a successful life, right? Yeah. Which is what we all want.
I know this is kind of a curveball question. It wasn't in the initial questionnaire, but on that work-life balance, that's something that so many people have been talking about lately. When you're meeting with your clients and people you're working with, is there any advice that you'd be able to give on the podcast today that people can work into their lives right now?
Well, I think when you think about work-life balance, we all tend to think about like hours, right?
Yeah.
And okay, we know that we're going to be at work probably for 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week. So having 40, 50 or 60 hours a week at home with our family probably isn't a realistic idea, at least while we're awake. So I think we need to think about it a little differently and think about it from a qualitative standpoint. So if I can spend an hour of really great quality time, then that can balance out 8 hours at work, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm at home and I spend an hour completely distracted working, then there was really no quality for my family. So I'm not at balance then. So I think people need to think of it a little differently and think more about quality than the quantity.
Yeah. But talk to us about how the process of coaching works. How, if somebody listening to the podcast today is like, John's my guy, how do they get in touch with you, and how does this process work?
Okay, great. Yeah, well, they can look at my website. So you'll see X3P, breakthroughcoaching.com, and they can get a hold of me there. There's a contact information so they can set them an appointment. And the first interview is completely complimentary. So I want to make sure that I'm a good fit for the person, they're a good fit for me. We both understand what the goals are before we move forward. So that's kind of how we get started. And then what I always tell people is coaching, the way I look at coaching for people that haven't been through it before is our lives are kind of like we're on this big ship, right? So to steer, we need to be moving. So we're all moving, we're steering, but maybe we see where we want to go, but we have trouble getting there because, okay, guess what? There's waves, there's wind, there's coral reefs, there's other ships, there's things that are getting in the way of that. So what I do as a coach is I help people to move towards that destination that they want to go. So it's just a simple kind of analogy to fight against those waves, fight against the currents, fight against the wind, and to find the direction that they really want to go.
Yeah, that sounds so great. Well, John, before I let you go today, and this has been awesome, one of the things that we want to highlight is what sets you apart from other coaches. What do you really think stands out within the range of the services that you offer that makes you different?
Well, thanks. That's a great question. For me, when I think about how I'm different is a lot of coaches, came from maybe the HR side, and nothing against the HR side, but they haven't experienced maybe the leadership challenges, the frontline leadership challenges, the supervisory challenges, the managerial challenges. And I can say that I've done those. So I've been a foreman, I've been a department manager, I've been a plant manager, I've managed networks of plants all over the Americas, working with international companies. So I have that experience to draw on. So I think one thing that separates me is that experience, but the other one is I can really relate to where people are because I've lived it. So I've been there and lived it, and I can help them get to where they want to be. Yeah. Everybody probably needs a coach, but not everybody wants to have a coach. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, don't you want to be the best at work? Don't you want to be the best with your family? Don't you want to have the best life possible? We only get one shot at it. So, having a coach can help you get there.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much again for your time. It was great learning more about you and your business today.
Well, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Tyron Wilson, who is with Epic Flight Academy. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So tell us about your business. You guys are based out of Florida, but you're opening up here in Northern Kentucky. Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Well, Epic Flight Academy started in 1999. From Danny Perner, the CEO, had a dream of starting a flight academy. He was an aircraft mechanic himself, started with one plane. We are, like I said, based out of New Smyrna Beach. From that one plane, we have grown to a fleet of about 30 aircraft right now. We have satellite locations in Jacksonville, Ocala, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, and also Tucson, Arizona. We got into the aircraft mechanic business in 2020 during COVID. Crazy time to open an aircraft mechanic school, but we got through it. And now we want to come to Northern Kentucky and do it again.
Yeah, that's really exciting. You guys are kind of opening up in that CVG area, a lot of development, a lot of exciting stuff happening. Tell us about what you guys are going to be doing up here in Northern Kentucky and when you guys plan on opening.
Well, we're going to be building, we have built an aircraft mechanic school. We're going to be opening April 15th is set for the first class start date. The way we came about it is a company named FEAM. We got talking to them about the need in mechanics around the whole world right now. And then they're also putting a couple of scholarships on the table for kids to actually go through the program and then work with FEAM afterwards.
Yeah, that's incredible. I know we talk a lot about different partners in and around CVG. Obviously, they're one of our big partners here at the Chamber. So you mentioned there's a shortage. There's not really a lot of aircraft mechanics. Tell us about that and then the certification that you guys offer.
It's always been a shortage of aircraft mechanics, I believe, worldwide, but it's really hitting home now with the things we're seeing in the news, the problems that we're having. It's just not something that a kid grows up to be,
right?
Or aspires to be. One of my first job in aviation was aircraft mechanic. I went into the Navy and became an aviation electrician. But a kid will grow up and understand or inspire to be a pilot, but no one knows about aircraft mechanics because we don't really put a light on it. CBG itself is set to need, I think, over 600 aircraft mechanics within the next 5 years. So it is a very big gap that we need to fill. I go to high schools a lot. I talk to a lot of our military vets to see if that's something that they would like to do. But the profession is definitely hurting worldwide. It's just not in the United States. It's all around the country, all around the world.
Yeah, so it seems like there's a lot of opportunity for people to come in, get the certification, and then flow right into a job here, especially in the region with CBG needing that many people.
Unbelievable how it is. I tell kids all the time, when I graduated high school, it was no way I could have went to a AMP school and then got hired by a FEAM or a United or a Delta. These kids are coming out of high school, 19-month programs, and being able to work for an airline like United, Delta, because the shortage. They're willing to train them right there at the job now, whereas before they would have to have a little bit more experience.
Yeah, that's crazy. So tell us a little bit more about your program, like the length, the cost, what people need to know, and then how people can get involved.
Cool. Our program is 19 months. It's 5 semesters. Each semester is 4 months. The total cost of the program is $45,000, but that $45,000 is going to cover everything. Everything's inclusive. That's going to be your books, your tools, and also testing. You're going to have to take 3 FAA written tests to move on. But when you're done with the program, those tools are yours.
Yeah.
The first set of tools that you get to take with you.
Yeah, a lot of mechanic programs have things like that. I know we've talked to people who do car mechanic work. So kind of the same idea, obviously, with airplanes, it's a little bit more involved.
Yeah, we're not asking for the $45,000 all at once. With the 5 semesters, you pay $9,000 a semester. We do offer Sally Mae and a couple of other loan options for people as well.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great opportunity. You're talking about this opportunity, you said, so it can be high school students that go right into the program. What other types of candidates is this a good program for?
Everyone. If you're looking for a change in your career right now, I don't know what's harder than being an aircraft mechanic. I had a kid yesterday tell me he wants to be a mechanic, and that's great. We need those guys too. I just told him the difference of you being a mechanic is once you're done with your training, you're going to go apply for 10 jobs. 6 months before you're done at the aircraft mechanic school, you're going to have about 12 or 15 employers contacting you, asking you to come interview for them. The need and the amount of mechanics that we have is just not going to be able to fulfill the need that we have. We're traveling. We open that box, the Pandora's box of aviation. We can't close it now.
Yeah.
More people want to travel. They're not going to just go, no, I'm not going to travel. So the need for mechanics is definitely high. Right up there, probably above the need for pilots.
Yeah, it's a really booming field. Like we said, here in Northern Kentucky, it is really crazy with CBG and the growth that we're seeing out there at the airport. But thank you so much for your time today. It's been great to have you. Before I let you go, is there anything else that people need to know about Epic Flight Academy? Anything else you can think of that our viewers and listeners need to know today?
I would just implore anyone that is thinking about becoming an aircraft mechanic, come to the airport. Come by the mechanic school. We're at 160 New Price Pike, right in Erlanger. Take a walk through the mechanic school. We're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We would love to give you a tour of the school, see if it's something that is a good fit for anyone. And they can also go online, check us out at www.epicflightacademy.com. You can also get information there. We have a lot of scholarships available for people looking for ways to get into the aircraft mechanic school.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. We're excited to have you guys up and running here in Northern Kentucky here next month. But Tyron, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Knockelman, owner of Schneller Knockelman Plumbing, Heating, and Air. As we kick off 2024, I want to let you know about a major giveaway of a free system, a complete furnace and air conditioning system for your home. All you have to do is go online at skpha/2024 giveaway, and you can register, no purchase necessary, to win this complete system for your family. If you're not interested because your system is too young, please share this with your friends and neighbors so that they have an opportunity to win also. And if you're not in the market for a new furnace and air conditioning system, make sure you call us and schedule your furnace tune-up here for the winter. And just remember, call Schneller Knockelman, your family-owned company. Trust us, we're going to be there for you.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed hearing from John and Tyron today on the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, C. Crew Consulting, and Schneller Knockelman. Don't forget that applications are now open for the NGLA Awards. Those applications are due by April 26th, and you can learn more and apply or nominate at nkychamber.com/NGLA-nom. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're someone who is interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks once again for tuning into the podcast this week. I'll talk to you guys next week.